The Blues take on the Jets, and I have to tell you, this is going to be a much more difficult matchup than people are giving credit for because the Jets, I think, actually have an offense that's going to be really difficult for the Blues' defense to stop. And this is all coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, where you can listen to your team every day here on the Locked On Blues channel, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. On today's episode, I will be talking about the Blues and how they're going to take on the Jets and how this will be more of a challenge, and I will explain why. When should the Blues even play Joel Hofer? And then what should Army do about the contract? So this will be a jam-packed episode today. Also, I know I look a little bit orange. I am leaving for vacation in literally an hour, but I had to make sure to get the most relevant content up before I left. So I was like, I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to pre-record, and then I'm going to head out. So you will be having new episodes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The one that I saw yesterday and today I'm wearing the same outfit because, baby, we're recording it back to back. But it's fine because, again, not much I don't think is going to change between now and then. And if there is, I'll just pop on and make an emergency update. So I have you covered. Don't worry. But anyways, what is a vacation? Well, I know what I am going to use on vacation, and that is why today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off your first purchase. Get it? Because like when I go on vacation, I might need to buy like tickets to go to things. Like, okay. So, anyways, the Winnipeg Jets, they are not a great team. Okay. And with the 5 games that they played, they're 2-3. So they only have 4 points. But again, it's so early in the season, and I hate people this early in the season that will look at the standings and be like, okay, this is a good team, this is a bad team. It's too early to tell, unless you're the San Jose Sharks. No diss on the Sharks, but like they have yet to win a game, I don't think. Yeah, no, they have yet to win a game. So that's that. Anyways, the thing about the Jets that I think is more of a challenge is that they have a more fast-paced moving offense. And I have been watching a couple of their games just to get a feel for how they're going to be this season. Because I've said this all along, the Jets are a really weird team. They're a very sneaky team. They're a team where you don't expect them to maybe play as well, but yet they do. So I think with the Winnipeg Jets, the Blues are going to really need to put up their A game for defense. And you know what? Not even the A game, like their A plus game, because we all know the Blues defense sucks. Well, they don't suck, but they're not good. So, anywho, when looking ahead at these Blues and these Jets, there are some players in particular, and when there is some, there is one, and that is center Mark Schauffele. Oh my gosh. I just feel like he is so fast and dominant on the ice. And it's interesting. ESPN, they always put up these matchups of players that will somehow match up well against each other. So they have our boy Jacob Vanera match up with Mark. And then they also have Braden oh my God, why? Sod. Why did I say sad? I'm sad about the Blues. Braden Sod, he's also marked up against Schauffele. I don't like that. Like, I know that, with points, Vanera is leading and, Saad had his 2 goals. But when you look at Mark Schauffele, he has 6 points, 4 goals, and 2 assists. That makes me nervous. But again, the thing that the Jets struggle with is their defense. So, sure. Okay. there's always a possibility that it's just going to be another offensive battle, which the Blues have done numerous times before, especially with the Stars. It was more of an offensive battle. I don't like that necessarily. I'm not a huge fan of just saying, okay, it's going to be the two offenses. I would like it to be, okay, the defense can actually stop this Jets team, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I'm not feeling good about this game. I'm not. I mean, if Benner is in net, I will feel better about it. I think he'll be in net, but there's always that chance that he won't be, and that's my worry. I would play Benner in this game, and I'm sure by the time this episode is out, we will know and I will update. But giving my thoughts right now, a couple of days before the game, I really hope it is Jordan Binnington in net because I feel like that's the Blues' only way to survive. I'm going to talk more about this in the next segment, but I think that this game, too, and another thing about the Winnipeg Jets is that they're not the best power play team. Like, there's things that they struggle with. I just think that the Blues, I mean, hey, anything can happen. I just think that the Blues, they do have a good chance of winning. Now, the Edmonton Oilers, they've sucked this season. And the Jets, the last game that they had was against Edmonton, and they defeated them last night 3-2 in OT. So they did lose to Vegas, which is expected because the Golden Knights have been fantastic. I don't think they've lost a game yet. They lost to the LA Kings 5-1, which is a little bit of a hope for the Blues. But then they defeated the Florida Panthers 6-4. And that's where I get nervous because it's the wins that they have. They get so many goals behind net. And with the Panthers, I mean, they were a team that was just in the finals. And I know that they haven't had the best start to the season, but for the Jets to get 6 goals in, I don't know. It's one of those things where you got to take this team, I think, a little bit more seriously and just hope for the best. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not afraid of the Jets, but I think that if the Blues let up a little bit, it could go the opposite way. And I will get into more detail about what that would be. Before I do, though, game time, I'm going to talk to you about my favorite app on my phone because I am obsessed with Game Time. So you shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is fast and it's an easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. They also have the best last minute deals, and you can see where your seat is before you even buy the ticket. And personally, the thing I think I like most about Game Time is how secure the app is. I know no one's going to steal my card information because it's happened before in other apps. I like that I can see where I'm sitting, and they're always just super honest about the prices. And I usually wait like an hour before an event. I know that might stress some people out, but you get such good deals last minute, and you can go to like events for beyond cheap. And it's like, did I even pay for that? Yes, I did. But like, did I? Yes. So Game Time is absolutely the best. And I love how amazing the deals are. Seriously, I cannot get over it. So this is what I want you to do. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Speaking of guaranteed, Jordan Binnington obviously is the best goalie that the Blues have to be in net. And he's guaranteed to usually have good games. I don't know when they're going to put in Joel Hofer again. Maybe when they play the San Jose Sharks. I hate, and I'm not even like joking when I'm saying that. I don't know when. I don't think he's ready for the NHL yet. And if you compare the two goalies side by side, and this is what I've been doing to get a better feel for my thoughts towards the situation, you can tell the sloppiness that Hofer executes well in net, and something against him. I believe in him. He is going to be a very good goalie, but he does need that more developmental time. I think looking at a guy like Binnington, he is so strong and secure in net that you don't see some of the same sloppiness with, spatial issues, right? I think that Subban would be a better backup goalie for Benner right now, but it's a difficult thing because everyone, I think, in the Blues front office was really hoping for Hofer to be the guy. You give him an opportunity against the Coyotes, and as I said, I slept on the Yotes a little bit, okay? I can own up to that. I did. I literally slept on them. I did not expect them to be as well as they were. But that's besides the point. We make mistakes, we live, we laugh, we move on. When it comes to the St. Louis Blues team, I do believe, genuinely speaking, that if you put Hofer in, you will need to have a stronger defense. Binnington is able to do something that not a lot of goalies can do, and that is that he plays two positions within one because he doesn't have a defense really, and he's just his hockey IQ is high up there, okay? He knows how to read the game. With a guy like Hofer, who is still relatively new, he doesn't have that same hockey IQ yet, especially in the NHL. So putting him in, it's really a huge risk. I'm not saying to not give him another chance. I think you do give him another chance, but maybe once the season is kind of played out a little bit more so you can see who the teams that are actually struggling versus the teams that are surprisingly playing well. I think with the Arizona Coyotes, it was really easy to look at them and say, hey, let's go put in Hofer now because it's the Coyotes. I had that same reaction. A lot of people had that same reaction. Looking back, he should have never been put in that situation. And I think that the Coyotes were underestimated. I do. I admit that myself. And I think that you really should have just waited a little bit. Now, I know you want to rest your guys, but that's a point where you bring up Subban. You bring up a guy that has been in this league. Subban, I remember him most from his Golden Knights days, and he was always extremely solid in net. Right now, it is the regular season. This is not preseason. This is, points or no points. I was going to say life or death, but it's not that deep. And right now, you're trying to get as many points as possible to even be considered for a potential wild card spot. You want to get back to the postseason if you're the St. Louis Blues, but you're not going to do that when you're putting guys like Joel Hofer in the net with teams that are actually pretty decent. And that's why I think waiting it out a little bit, continue to see who the teams are that are good are. And then if you have a team like the San Jose Sharks that cannot for the life of them win a game, put them then in a game like that. It's no diss on the Sharks. It's not. They lost a lot of good players. And I'm not bad talking any teams. I'm just talking for real. And it is what it is. But I do think that the St. Louis Blues, they don't have like a goalie issue because, again, I am a huge fan of Subban. I just think that right now Hofer isn't ready yet. But what do you think about this? When do you think the Blues should play Hofer? Do you think that they should send him down to the Thunderbirds so he can get some more reps? Or do you think it was just one of those games where it happens? Because that's also another possibility, is that Arizona game could have just been a game where, it just didn't go the way that it should have gone and things happen and that's hockey and you move on. But I am curious as to what you think about it because I feel like the way that I'm looking at it might be a little bit more, I don't want to say negative, but definitely a little bit more, you know, hey, so cool, this is not going well. And the only difference between Arizona and the Penguins game was the fact that it was Hofer and then Binnington in net. So it's easy to look at it and think to yourself, okay, it's definitely all Joel Hofer, but it could have just been, it was a team loss and Hofer happened to be in net. I it's one of those, and unless we see him play again, it's really hard to make that one assumption. So I'm not going to do that, but I just wanted to be honest and transparent with you all on here in Locked On Blues about maybe my thoughts after the 2 games, because again, this Jets team may be a little bit more problematic, and I don't like that. So again, early days in the season, nothing to freak out about again, but that is something to be aware of. So there's that. All right. I love how I'm going on vacation in literally less than an hour, and I'm just like, I have to do this Locked On Blues podcast because like I have to do it. But you know what else I have to do, because it is always the best time for this, is use FanDuel. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. I love FanDuel so much. I always tell you, if you want to win some easy shmoney, bet on the Kansas City Chiefs money line and then do Patty Mahomes over 220 passing yards. Usually every game, that's a locked bet. Win some money. That's why I've been winning some of my extra money and being able to get some new Blues gear. So I love the fact that it's FanDuel, the app that's easy to use. You know what's not easy? The Blues. The Blues' contracts. Doug Armstrong has done a lot of good for the St. Louis Blues. On the other hand, he's put the Blues in some tough situation with all their contracts, and it sucks. It sucks, but I think as Blues fans, we are frustrated, and this is what's really preventing the rebuild, is that you can't move guys. A lot of the guys have no trade clauses, most notably Torrey Krug. And I'll do an episode where I dive deeper onto all the contracts. I just wanted to put this out there. What should Army do? He's in a situation where he has these big contracts, no trade clauses. What's he able to do? What is he able to bring in? What's he able to move around? Because this team, I've said it once and I'll say it again, they are held together by bad contracts. And if I was Doug Armstrong, I would be literally thinking, how do I get these guys to waive their no trade clauses? Because this is what's holding the Blues back. I mean, Torrey Krug hasn't impressed me in these first couple games. I would try to get rid of him. I know that he's not wanting to leave, so you can't get rid of him. But it's things like that frustrate me. Is you have to be really generous who you give your no trade clauses to in these big contracts, because there's a huge chance that some of these guys may not work out over time, and then you're screwed and you're held together by these contracts. It puts the Blues in a really weird and bad situation, but I wanted to bring this up now because a lot of people I see are just like, oh, make trades, move people around, but you can't when there's all these no trade clauses. I forget where the stat was that I saw, and I'm going to look it up really fast because I am curious about this, about the Blues' salary. It's called Cap Friendly. That's the website. They are such a good website. They have like all the information like about, cap spaces and when contracts end, and yeah, okay. So I knew the Blues had a lot of no trade clauses, and I'm going to tell you all the players that have a no trade clause because it is ridiculous. Okay, Braden Shen, no trade clause, but that's fine. Like, he's our captain, and it's like, whatever. Boosh, no trade clause. Saad, no trade clause. Kevin Hayes, no trade clause. Now we have on defense. Folk, no trade clause. Krug, no trade clause. Parako, no trade clause. Letty, no trade clause. Scandella, no trade clause. And then in net, Binner, no trade clause. That is ridiculous. Like, majority of the defense, besides Barzuzzo, Tucker, and Scotty P, everybody else has a no trade clause. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Unbelievable. Thank you, Cap Friendly, by the way, for providing such great information on all this. So if you think, oh, the St. Louis Blues are not able to make moves, well, now you know. The whole team basically has a no trade clause. Yep. If you feel frustrated right now, just think about how we feel. Think about how we feel. All right. I will talk to you on Wednesday, hopefully in a different outfit and not as orange as I am now. I'm going to be heading out to the West Coast. So I will talk to you on Wednesday, probably very tired, but I will still talk to you. And until then, let's go Blues.